I am very pleased to be here today and to express my thankful for Niels, who has published the book on Kosovo. For me, it's the second time participating in a book launch this year. The first one was published in Danish for the tourism in Albania. The second one is historical. And I would like and I appreciate very much the contribution that Niels gave on our national issue on the Kosovo. Because together with the Albanian community here in Denmark, he was motivated and he went firstly participating in the work for the Albanians' rights in Kosovo, and secondly now he had wrote down everything in his book about what he did during these years there, which is a very important analysis that even the writers or the historians or the public opinion will have as a reference in their near future. I think that what is happening, all the things are real, and he had in details many things that happened during the events in Kosovo. Thank you.
There you go.
My name is Avni. I have a master's degree in political science. I've been working for United Nations and also for the Parliament of Sweden several years, also for the government of Kosovo. So many of the things that the author Niels Henrik Hooge make a description in his book, I do recognize them from my own reality. Firstly, let me thank you for inviting me to give comment on a major book of 564 pages. It's not the easiest thing to do. It was Danish, thanks everyone for that, so for me it was easy to understand. It would be more difficult if it would be Icelandic. I'm always the last one to talk, so most probably people are tired hearing all the speeches. So I'm going to try to be short, but I don't promise that I will be short, because it's really so much to say about this book. Personally, I think it's a great inspiration to be here among you. Be here in front of you, Niels, and the Excellencies, the Ambassador of Albania, the Ambassador of Macedonia. Alright, it's not indeed easy to talk about the book, however, because there's so much to say. But I was thinking about three major issues. I did write in Swedish, so I have to think about it in English, doesn't matter. If I would summarize three major issues regarding the great book that Niels did write, it would be human rights and the right to live. And the third one would be the right to self-determination. When I say about human rights, it's not a secret, neither is it difficult to understand that what he's doing is he's building a bridge of cooperation between Denmark and Southeastern Europe. And when I say Southeastern Europe, I'm very well aware what I'm saying. I don't mean just Kosova, which is the name of the book, because when you go through the book yourself, many of you have done it. By the way, if you haven't done it, I would suggest that you do it. Indeed, you can see that they're talking about let's say, about Albanians in Tetova. They're mentioning in page 201, for instance, quite much about it. And with that, you understand that the Albanians, beside Kosovo and Albania, the Albanians living in Macedonia as well. And also, you travel through his eyes. We are, like Albanians, divided into six countries in Southeastern Europe. We have same culture, same language. So, of course, we have everything that unites us. But we live in integrated Europe, so we will get integrated there. Instead of taking the old ways of conflicts and wars. What I wanted to say is that I wrote in Swedish, en rikedom av upplevelser. Ni förstår mycket väl vad jag menar. Indeed, it's like you get richer by reading his book. Because all his experiences, if you really care about the region, if you really care about peace, about human rights, about the rights of the women, he wrote about 20,000 women being raped in Kosovo, and he also criticized the Albanian mentality, which is totally justified, that they look down at the women who are being raped, for instance, which is not their fault because they have that kind of gender. Also today, there are some issues which we haven't dealt with what happened in the past. what Niels is telling us and showing us through his words, which it's not difficult to understand, are coming from his heart, is that he's telling us that you can never build a present or a future without dealing with the past. Man kan aldrig bygga nutid eller framtid om man inte tar itu med det som har hänt tidigare, med sin historia. Ni förstår mig. I think it's very important to say it in both language, because it is something that you can ground your own beliefs, what you believe, what is good, what is bad. In the way that he describes, for me, I would never think about him, number one, as being Danish. I was thinking, especially when I read about the village called Letnica, which he mentioned in page 141. Letnica is a small village in Kosovo, or Kosova, sorry, where Mother Teresa, she was 12. The ambassador of Albania did mention very well. I was also in Rome. The Vatican invited me during the canonization of Mother Teresa. It was really an honor. And Mother Teresa got her cold from God or whatever, I'm not religious in that case, in the village of Letnica. So I was like, I identified myself with him and with whole Denmark in the same time. That's why I said earlier, this is building bridges. He did not write this book only for himself, for Denmark or for Kosovo, for Albanians. I think he wrote it for the world. He wrote it really for the humanity. And if I may say some other issues, he talked about Lugina and Preševa, which is the Preševa Valley. It's in the south of Serbia. As you understand, if I talk politics, that's my profession. So please understand me right. Unë jam politikolog në profesion, do thotë, nëse flas për politikë është profesioni jam, nuk po dal jashtë profesionit, ju lutem më kuptoni drejt. Plus ka punuar për Kombet e Bashkuara si suedes poshtë, plus si shqiptar për qeverinë e Kosovës. So I try to mix the languages. You do mention also in your book Ushtria e Preševës, Medveçit dhe Bojanovcit, on page 403. For me, you'd see the links in between us. You make the links that previously the Albanian politicians, perhaps, of course, after the pressure from the Westerners and Russia, did do. That means we divided us in 5-6 countries. But you did unite us, because you said that what happens in Albania, which you described very well during your visits in Tirana, and Kukus, which I was amazed by the pronunciation, by the way. And then you all of a sudden you jumped into Tova, and then you were in Preševa, and then you went back to Kosova. At the same time, you talked about us living in the Scandinavian countries. You talked about Atlantiku Brigada from United States. Atlantiku është brigada që ka marrë pjesë në UÇK. At the same time, you talked about Albanian diaspora from Germany. Personally, I've been involved with diaspora issues. I'm still now trying to unite Albanian professionals through Lobby Euro-Atlantic. So I did recognize myself. It was, you are helping us to get united even more. When I say united, I mean united by your ideas, united by your beliefs that good, positive examples should be highlighted and taken as an example. If I may go to the end to say about some messages, några budskap vid slutet, vad jag anser att han vill förmedla fram till läsarna, are some messages that I think he is want to let us know is that he thinks, according to my analysis, that we have to deal with the past both internally and externally. When I say we, in this case, I take the role as being born Albanian, although I live more than half of my life in Sweden. But when I say we have to think what happened in the past. So the past will happen again if we are not aware and understand and accept, what happened in the past. You have to understand and accept. When you understand, it's easier to accept. That's internally within us. And I was talking about that he mentioned in page 358 and 359, his friend Javat, when you say that he told me that it's her fault she was raped because she was a woman. Once again, I want to go back to that, because 20,000 people are human beings. We live in year 2016. Women's rights are human rights. So it's important to mention that out. And you also mentioned that it was an apartheid regime against the Albanians, which is very true. However, no one wanted a war there, never ever. We were forced, it was the last option, if I may call it an option. But thanks to Denmark, and other Western countries, and of course United States, just His Excellency Ambassador of Macedonia did point out very well, we got support. And indeed you were supporting very much in the same time. So internally we had to deal with that. You also mentioned the village of Prekaz, which the first massacre did happen in 1998 in March. And I have a friend of mine from Prekaz family, the same one. Many of her family members were killed. Elfi, she's sitting here. I invited her and several of my friends from Sweden. Thank you so much for coming. Jag uppskattar jättemycket. Because it's important, because we have to make your messages back home. When I mean back home to Sweden, back home to Albania, to Macedonia, to Kosovo, Lugina, Preševa Valley, because it's important message. And also you do point out very well one issue. I have to take it in Albanian, I apologize for it, I will take it in Swedish later on. Më falë, ka bëni pyetje gjithve, nëse unë ju përgjigj, sinqerisht ja u kisha ditë me nderë, mi ngrit dorën. Sa persona e keni ditë që në Kosovë kanë qenë 876 varre masive, ngrit në dorën kush e ka ditë. Okej, fra vetë. Shumica jena shqiptara, po? Ne është një porosi për gjithë neve, kështë kritike dhe për mu, se kum ditë që 800 diçka për jo sa. Alright, I'll say it in English. One issue that I did find out, on the many issues I found out in the book, is I asked in Albanian right now, everyone who is present, did you know how many mass graves they were in Kosova after the war, 1999? And there were 876 in a very small country, in the size of Skåne in the south of Sweden. Which is very irresponsible. I cannot compare with Denmark in this case. So. But you understand. So, and I raised the hand and I asked, please be honest, how many of you Albanians present here knew that there were 876 mass graves being found in Kosovo? You had like 4 or 5 of us knew. And I didn't want to criticize anyone. Because yesterday I found out about, thank you Niels very much. I knew it was 800, but I didn't know there were 876. So it's a message for us that we are forgetting the past. I think your message, Niels, what you're doing us, you're helping us very much. You're helping Albanians, you're helping peace, number one, because in the end we are humans, regardless what we are. Peace in Europe. It's only 3 hours of flight from Copenhagen airport, Kastriot to Pristina. It goes very quickly. So we're helping peace in Europe. We don't have to go to Africa or Middle East. Of course, but in this case, we stand very close. So I hope many of us understood that if we forget the past, it will happen again. Falni që po foli shqip, po nëse ne po them nëse harrojmë kalumën, kona përsërit prap. Kështu që është porosi që Niels na ka mësu, e kemi mik, e kemi gjithçka në këtë aspekt, se po na sjell sytë dhe kemi nevojë me hap sytë në shqiptar. Po generalizoj pak, kërkoj falje, por disa raste mendova. Okay. Another message is that you talk about the ethnical cleansing in page 439, that you say that no one has dealt with ethnical cleansing. It's true. Just 5 days ago, the Prime Minister of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, he said it very clearly, we did not make an ethnical cleansing in Kosovo. If we did, then they did it too, the same way. So everyone should apologize for it. So it's true. It's also past. That's external part, though. And I think, personally, with regards to external parts, as you understand, we Albanians could not solve the issue to stop the ethnical cleansing and genocide in Kosovo by our own. So we had to have help from Denmark and other countries. I think you should send your book to Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark. I would do it, and I hope. The media sponsorship, Radio Televisione Zëri Kosovës, will make it true, because it's important that the journalists in Denmark get it as well. And I hope you will have it translated into other languages as well, because it's very important. Alright, just to end, because people are getting tired, it's too hot here, we want to drink something, correct? I did pass 700 kilometers to come here, I don't regret a thing. 700 back, because I have to fly back to Stockholm tonight, but I came by train. So 1,400 kilometers, you told me that I thank you for coming from Sweden. I don't regret a thing. To be frank, for me, and I'm sure for many of my friends who came from Helsingborg and others, it felt like it was 17 kilometers, or perhaps 1.7. I think it's important that we value humanity, number one. later on we are Danish, Albanians, or whatever we are. Number one is humanity. Number one, you are honoring us Albanians, you are honoring humanity, because we tried to give to the world, we gave a saint to the world, Saint Teresa, and you are opening our eyes, so we should continue even more on that path. So, vad jag vill säga på svenska nu är, jag ångrar inte det minsta lilla att det tog 1400 kilometer fram och tillbaka från Västerås och Stockholm för att komma hit, eller mina vänner som jag bjöd från Helsingborg och Malmö och andra. Jag tycker det var värt, det kändes verkligen som det var 17 kilometer, det är snarare 1,7 kilometer för att komma hit. Jag ångrar inte det minsta, för att det är värt. För det första, det har ingenting att göra med att jag råkar vara alban eller dansk eller svensk eller vad det nu kan vara. Jag är en människa, och den här boken visar på mänsklighet. In that content I have to add and give you a credit for you're talking about environment. You're mixing history, you're mixing many countries in the Balkans, then you talk about sustainable development. Your mixture is unique. The ambassador was totally right. It's unique, it's different. Of course, being political scientist, I wrote my master's degree about European Union foreign policy, and I did work with diplomacy many years. So, but I'm not exaggerating, and it's all these pages, the mixture that you are doing, it's really unique. So I certainly hope it will get translated, and I certainly hope that all of you who are present here will get the book and will make your message further. And regarding the facts that you get here, please make sure that present generation and the next one, they understand what happened. Because in the end, it is for the sake of the good, it is for the sake of humanity. By that, I hope you haven't get tired by listening to my own voice. Sometimes I get tired from my own voice. But I want to end by saying thank you, humbly, from the deep of my heart, for inviting me and having such an honor. 2 weeks ago, I was or 10 days ago, I was in Vatican. Know this, it's amazing. Thank you so much. Tack så hemskt mycket. Tack Danmark för att ni hjälper att bygga fred i en del av Europa som behöver stöd. Och tack danska albaner för att ni är här och stödjer, och hoppas verkligen att ni skaffar boken, att ni förmedlar vidare och att den översätts till andra språk. Thank you so much. Faleminderit shumë.